feeling? Woo! Yeah, I said, how y'all feeling? NYC, are y'all here? NYC, are y'all here? Y'all, I would love for us to have a moment of silence. Before Joel starts, I would love for us to have a moment of silence. I would love for us to look around and look at everyone's faces. This is the faces of our community. These are the faces of our sisters, our brothers, and our siblings. There is no difference between us. We are all the same. We are all here, and we all deserve the right to live. We all deserve the right to live. Don't ever forget it. Because what we have done today, we have formed a community. We have fought and we have marched together because we know that we have to fight for the right side. We have to fight so that our people can live, so that black trans people can live past 35. So that black trans people no longer have to walk in fear. Because black trans people have been here since the beginning of time. Y'all please show some love and give a warm, meaty, family love to Joel, y'all. Give it up, give it up!
I started protesting in early June, and my first protest, I saw we were chanting Black Lives Matter, but we did not mean all Black Lives Matter. I witnessed homophobia and transphobia within these early protests. So I got up, and I was blessed to have a few other like-minded people with me that said, we are going to emphasize all Black Lives Matter. And every Thursday since June, we have been here emphasizing Black queer and Black trans lives matter.
Message.
So we are not a pride parade when you see our flags. We are not the pride parade. We are the Black Lives Matter movement. Because these flags symbolize the Black queer and Black trans people who are being murdered, not only because of their skin color, but because of their gender identity and their sexuality. And we are here to acknowledge their lives, the people that could not be here with us. I am so happy to be here with an organization that I highly respect, that I've done stuff with in the past. And I'm here specifically at the center of the New York City government and correctional facility, because this system has failed me. It has failed all Black people. It continues to fail Black queer people and Black trans people. When I say her name, you say Tasha Williams. Say her name.
Tasha Williams.
Say her name.
Tasha Williams.
Say her name.
Tasha Williams.
Tasha Williams was a Black trans woman. She was my sister. She was my savior. She was a guardian angel walking among us. She saved children who were homeless, who were Black and queer. She saved them from sex work, from exploitation, and from murder. I was one of those children that she saved when I was 15. She was brutalized and attacked every single day of her life, not just only from her family, from the police, but from the trauma that she had, that she carried with her. So she left New York City in hopes of starting a new life where she could heal and then come back to New York City to fix it. But she was murdered by the police her first week in Georgia. They shot her in the back. They said she was resisting arrest. They said they were scared. But how could you shoot her in the back if you were scared? That means she wasn't facing you. And they left her there to die on the street. She was a sister. She was a woman. She was a daughter. She was a friend. But all they saw her as was black and trans, and that was enough to kill her. It has only since been ever since I've been coming to these protests, that's the only time I ever spoke about her. Because it is selfish of me not to speak about her. Because she deserves her story to be heard. You all deserve to know her story. As you continue to march and protest 5, 10, 30 years from now, you will know her name and you will know her story and everything that you do. I am here to tell you that I have a lot of odds against me. I appear weak and vulnerable, feminine, I'm black and queer, but I am stronger than the police. I am stronger than this country. I am stronger than systemic racism because I am doing something they could never do. Because I choose to act in love and forgiveness, because every decision and action I do henceforward is through love and through what my fellow neighbor, what will help them. That is how I move, and that's what makes me stronger. They move in trying to scare us in violence. You will get nowhere with hatred. But that's why they're so scared of us, because look how powerful we are.
That's
because
right.
We are together as a community, we are together in love, and they are terrified. We are here every Thursday at Stonewall at 4 because, and I emphasize that because you need to be there and you need to hear us speak. Because just being black doesn't mean you understand who I am.
Message!
That doesn't mean you understand who she is. We can all learn something. So be there, listen to us, accept us, and respect us. Thank you.
Y'all get your ass some love. Get your ass some love. My name is Queen Jean, and I believe in black trans liberation. I said, my name is Queen Jean, and I believe in black trans liberation.
This power right here. I'm like, nah, move over. You gotta be in the center.
How you doing? I am here today because I will always fight for black people. I will always fight for black men, even though they will try to use my body, even when they will try to even kill me. Because I love black people. I love black men. I have 5 black brothers, and I asked them, would you fight for me if I were on the street? Would you stand up for another trans sister if she was being harassed? I stand before you because I don't know that. I don't know the answer. But what I do know that we all were raised in a house that believed in God. We were all raised in the same house that believed that we had to fight and preserve and protect each other. But they don't protect me. So I stand here and I ask you as a community, we must protect trans people! We must! It is our duty! We can no longer accept hate. We can no longer accept fear. Fuck your fear. I said, fuck your fear. What are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? They don't have to be harassed. Yes, as black people, we are continually marginalized. We are continually oppressed. We are continually made to be silent. But black trans people, we sit right underneath that. And we sit and we have to swallow and we have to smile. But meanwhile, we have given y'all life. We have given y'all culture. Black trans people have given you shade. We have given you commas. We have given you yes mama, yes girl. We have given you baby hairs and edges. We have given you everything that you have here. We've given you contour. We've given you body. Right? Because not everybody has body. So we've given you that because we did not have it. So we cultivated a way to preserve our true identities. And for that, we are made fun of. And for that, we are pushed out. And so I ask you today to open up your hearts, to embrace black trans people. Do not let them be a motherfucking hashtag. Show them love while they are alive. It is your duty to protect black people. It is your duty to protect black women. Black women have been the backbone of American culture. Black women have breastfed white and black babies. And all the while they are pushed out. All the while they are told to wait their turn. To wait for what? To wait while bitterness grows in our hearts? Well, we are here today to say fuck bitterness. We are here today for joy. For black joy and black excellence. And black excellence includes transliteration. I am here today because I am tired. I am exhausted of seeing black trans women killed. And they're not killed by the cops all the time. They're killed by our own black men. Yes, I said it. They are killed by black men who don't understand, who do not understand how to love. And so I'm here today to challenge my brothers. We are here to love. We are here to lead with love. We are here to lead with compassion. Because just like we are here standing here today, I will fight for Breonna Taylor. I will fight for George Floyd. But I need you to fight for Tiffany Harris. I need you to fight for Brian Fowler. I need you to fight for Rayla Stone. I need y'all to fight for Queasha Hardy. Because they are our sisters and our brothers. So y'all, we have a duty. Because black life is valuable. And it seems to me that black life is almost becoming endangered. So what will you do to stop it? Thank you. All right, y'all, please give some love. We have our final speaker. We have Sister Hennessy Garcia. Show her some love.
Make some noise, everybody!
Hi everyone, so I'm Hennessy, and besides being queer and a female, I would like to identify as a scientist because I do study environmental science with a concentration in mineralogy and sciences. And for everyone here today, I honestly have parents who don't support what I do because they're very conservative. And I'm honestly tired of the conservatives, and I'm glad I study science. So today I'm just going to tell you why the science backs up trans and queer people. So, there may not be a gay gene, but we have epigenetics on our side. According to the American Society of Human Genetics, they recently did a study on twins, right? And it said how environmental factors can influence our DNA in regards to being gay, and that's how we kind of express. But when it comes to transgender individuals, they have genes that are the SRRY, the DMRT1, and the FOXL2, But I don't want to get too sciencey, so I want to talk about our brains. So there is no such thing as a female and a male brain. It's
Period. It's a brain.
so my favorite thing is when these fake ass scientists come out here and bring up their bullshit science when I'm sorry, honey, I have the data right here. So when it comes to being trans, it mostly has to do with hormones. So when they did a study on cisgender brains and cisgender brains versus trans brains, for a cisgender woman and a trans woman, they were actually really similar. This is why we say there is no such thing as a male and a female brain. When it comes to conservatives, unfortunately, I have to constantly deal with them, and that includes Trump supporters, because I know way too many, unfortunately. And the worst thing is telling people how to give a damn about other people. And I keep saying that, and I will keep saying that over and over again, because I'm so tired of having all this empathy while there are other people who just don't give a fuck. And while these black Christians talk about, oh, well, you don't fight for all black lives, because they talk about this 400,000 aborted babies. Well, honey, I don't see you outside the hospital fighting for the black women who keep dying while giving birth. You keep fighting for abstinence, but abstinence isn't for everybody, especially if you're raped. We need sex education and better sex education in our school system, but you're the one who keeps talking about your damn religion. And the other annoying argument with conservatives is this whole idea of the nuclear family. They're like, well, Black Lives Matter destroys the nuclear family. Well, your nuclear family has to do with heterosexual couples. Some of us out here don't really identify as that. And they're like, well, when it comes to these conservatives, they say how we're going against black men, but you're not even supporting your black gay men, your black trans men, so how about them apples?
Yeah.
They say we're unnatural, we're immoral, we're sinful, but if your religion tells you how to degrade other people, then that's not a religion I want to be a part of. And this isn't to crap on other religion. I don't mind if you believe in a religion. I do mind when you use your religion to hurt and attack other people. And I hope, as a queer woman going into the sciences, that I can break these barriers for our people and let these people know, well, stop using your bullshit science, because we have the science already that backs us up anyways. So today, for those of you who, well, we just got here, so we're fighting. I just want to talk about the people we were fighting for today. So we are here for Quisha Hardy. And she is a 24-year-old transgender woman, and her body was discovered in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Monday. And she sustained fatal gunshot wounds. And the problem I have with her story is the media in Louisiana deadening her. And that's the worst thing you can do to a trans person. You have one job, and that is to basically identify this trans human as a freaking human being. And you degraded them by saying their dead name. And she was 22 years old. When it came to Tiffany Harris, I actually was really sad about this one, because I'm from the Bronx and she died in Jerome, and I actually lived by there, so her story really, honestly, hits close to home. And she was another one who had got shot. But she was just like all of us. She's a normal human being. Her favorite show was Desperate Housewives and Sex in the City. When it came to Brian Powers, he died in Akron, Ohio, and he was a black trans man. And he was found dead on the sidewalk, and he was also a dead name in the media. And the last thing I want to say is, if your fight does not include trans or queer people, then you don't fight for all of us. You fight for your damn self. You better fight for all of us when you're out here. When we say their names, it's not just Breonna Taylor, it's not just George Floyd, it's Tony McVeigh, it's Tiffany Anthony Harris, it's Brian Powers, and it's Keisha Hart. Thank you.
Make some noise for Hennessy, everybody! That young sister reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and I probably dropped her equipment like this and megaphones 2 or 3 times because she's doing the work. And I'm so proud to see her on the front lines with folks making sure that her voice is heard. Let's make some noise for all the young sisters that keep showing up and entering the work that has to be done when there's no cameras and there's no crowds. My name is Carlene Pinto. I'm an organizer. My fight the last decade has been with families of police brutality, defending them in the streets, with the immigrant community statewide and nationally, and the Muslim community locally. And we picked this spot today to host something at 6 o'clock because the feds and the police are working together because they want to see all the beautiful people of color you see up here silent. They want to see all these beautiful young people dead in their communities on the streets. That's what the budget told us in this city. That's what the mayor is telling us in this city. And that's what the police commissioner is saying when he's kidnapping 18-year-old trans leaders off the streets. So make some noise, because you showed up today. Now we know these efforts are coalition efforts. And when we saw our trans brothers and sisters, non-conforming brothers and sisters, community folk marching over, we're saying this is all of our podium, this is all of our stage, close out in power because we're all together. Any one of us can be next, and we want to see this same type of unity and solidarity all through the rest of the summer in all the streets around the city, so make some noise. Y'all are gonna hear from some incredible young people doing the goddamn thing. I say young, right? I feel, oh, I'm 30, but whatevs, right? We know we gotta make some space for 12-year-olds, for 14-year-olds, for 19-year-olds. We gotta make some space. I wanted to make sure I give an incredible introduction to some young sisters doing the work and making sure they're making space for other young sisters. Because we know that the media cherry picks every single narrative for what supports the violence of the PD and the violence of white supremacy. And these sisters are spreading resources, capital, and they're showing the fuck up. So I want to make sure y'all get loud and proud for Chelsea Miller, Naya, from Freedom March NYC. They're going to kick us off. Make some noise.
Community, how are we feeling today? So I don't know about y'all, but I was so excited when I saw Andy and I saw Black Trans Liberation March pull up, because this is what we mean when we talk about community. Absolutely. This is what we mean when we talk about the importance of this work on the front lines. This is what we mean when we talk about we must protect and stand with each other. This work is not easy. There are organizers experiencing homelessness. There are organizers who are fearful for their lives. There are organizers who for months have been strategizing on the front lines about what next steps look like. And what has our leadership shown us? What has been their response? Their response has been to silence and intimidate this movement. But are we intimidated? No. Are we intimidated? No. Are we intimidated? No. Absolutely not. Because this is a movement. This is not a moment. And we are making sure that our voices are elevated and centered in this work. We were out on May 30th when the media was talking about the looting and the rioting. And we made sure that we centered the message. 2 months later, and we are centering this message. This is about unity. This is about community. This is about pulling up. This is about ensuring that we are protecting the rights of protesters. Because the last time we checked, it is not illegal to protest. In fact, we live in a democracy where civil rights is something that we talk about historically. But where are our civil rights now? And so this is a coalition of organizers who have come today to make sure that we hold our police commissioner accountable. And we ensure that our mayor, who is saying that he condemns the actions of these past few days, knows that it's not enough just to condemn, but to put your actions where your mouth is. And so we will be mobilizing today over these next few hours for a non-violent demonstration. And we will be talking about what that looks like as different organizers come up to speak. But know that we got us. We will make sure that we continue to sustainably do this work. Freedom March NYC is not going anywhere. Let's be very clear about that. And we may be young, and we may be black women, but we are a force. Make no mistake about that, because black women have historically carried these movements. The difference is that we're no longer being sent to the back room. We are pulling up to the front because we don't need permission for our voices to be at the front line. And that goes for black cis women and black trans women. Let's make no mistake about that as well. So with that being said, I'm turning over to Nia White, our youngest lead organizer on the front line. She's 17 years old, to talk about her story and what we mean when we say pull up.
How's everyone feeling tonight? I'm a very energetic force. So when I say how are y'all feeling tonight, I need to actually hear how y'all are feeling. So how are y'all feeling tonight? I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, East New York to be specific. You know the vibe. So my first encounter with the police was in my own school building. I was taught how to be a criminal before I was taught how to be a student. In my whole education, I had more police officers patrolling me than I had teachers teaching me. I had more police officers inside my school building than I had teachers, and more police officers than I had textbooks. So, when one person out here who is protesting like us inside of a sanctuary city is targeted, then all of us are targeted. So, when we're making this message clear, to the politicians, when we're making this message clear to the NYPD, I want everyone to understand that this is our city, that we are taking back our streets, because our ancestors built it on their own blood, black, and sweat, and tears. So, when I say whose street, y'all say our street. Whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. I want Shay and NYPD to hear us. So whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. Y'all not saying with conviction, so whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. That's what the hell I thought.
Period.
So I know that there's some confusion. This time I want to speak to our allies. And not even the allies that are here right now, but the allies who've been posting black squares and think that they're doing enough for this movement.
Yes.
So here's my message. If you are wondering what you would have done during the civil rights movement, this is your answer. If you are wondering what we mean when we say that do not wait until your rights are infringed upon, do not wait until they take your family for you to care about when they abduct us on these streets, this is what we talk about.
Yes.
We must understand that every single thing that happens in this movement leading up to the elections will go down in history. We must understand that everything that happens now will set precedent for the future generation to come. And so when Freedom March NYC says that we are a youth-led civil rights organization for our generation, we mean it.
Yeah.
We mean it in our work. We mean it in the way we pull up and show up for the community. We mean it in the way that we mobilize digitally. In the span of 4 to 5 weeks, raising over $60,000 to support this work sustainably. And let's be clear, this is for the community. So don't ever let the media tell you that we are not resourceful enough, that we are not educated enough, that we are not capable enough of creating change and reimagining what the system looks like. Because if you look behind me, we're showing you how it's done. So for the leaders who aren't leading, you can step aside, because we are the leaders of tomorrow. And so I'd like to introduce Tyler Holmes from Strategy for Black Lives to give some remarks, as well as to share a poem and a spoken word of what we're talking about with freedom and liberation.
We're gonna have actually one more speaker, just briefly.
I ain't speaking. I'm gonna ask for you. Hold on, I am. Honey, my loud ass know how to speak. Will one of y'all do me the solid, please? Any of y'all? Can y'all capture this? Literally count me down from 60. If I can't do it in 60, I might go a little over. I'm the executive director of STAR. My name is Mariah Lopez. If you're not familiar, put up that microphone for me. Thank you. Marsha and Sylvia founded STAR in 1969. 61 years after Stonewall, we're still here fucking it up, grabbing mics, threatening to grab mics. Right now, though, a body sits in St. Barnabas of a trans woman, a TGNC person, brown and queer. The labels don't matter. Like Marsha's life and death went unaccounted for, hundreds of black and brown trans people around the country experience the same fate. I am traveling to New Orleans soon to address the other trans woman who was killed there, days after the woman who was killed in the Bronx. Tomorrow, I'm moving on, I was over 60. This gentleman's organization, the organization that put this on, we're asking you to occupy the pier. Now, Short Foley Square is here and it's for the people and it is legendary. But Marsha and Sylvia and hundreds of trans people have been pushed from the West Village, from that sacred space where Marsha's body was pulled from. And so I ask you, keep this vibe up, 6 to 8 tomorrow, and potentially through the fucking weekend. Join us on Pier 45. The flyer is on social media. Find me on Facebook, Mariah Lopez Ebony. Speakers are welcome. We can have speakers into the night. Don't give a fuck that it says 6 to 8. Bring this energy. I love y'all. I'm out.
Black trans? Black trans? Black trans?
Period.
I'm gonna raise this real quick. My name is Tyler Holmes. I'm a member of Strategy for Black Lives, which is a youth-led group of young people of color fighting for black lives each and every day on the streets through policy reform. And I thank each and every one of y'all for coming out here. Because without y'all, this movement can't keep going. Showing up each and every day. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know I was gonna speak. Somebody invited me really quickly, but I want to share a poem that I wrote. And I've said this before, but it was about a month ago, so bear with me if I do mess up. The title of the poem is called Look Through My Eyes. When you look into my eyes, what do you see? Look a little deeper. What do you really see? They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. If that's the case, then why the hell you can't look me in my eyes? Is my soul not pure enough? My eyes do bleed red, just not white nor blue. You tell me my people are free, but that's a lie I've learned to live with. Why, you might ask? The last time I checked, people who have darker melanin have more hands on steel cage bars than they've ever had before. The last time I checked, strangers who share a darker complexion are still overwhelmingly being segregated when it comes to overpopulated prisons, outdated textbooks, over-policed ghettos. The last time I checked, those who carry the weight of a blacker pigmentation are seen as unsolvable math problems well before we are seen as hardworking people. Gun-holding thugs well before we are seen as law-abiding citizens. I remember the first time I was called a nigger. And I've never felt so much rage in my life. And words don't usually get to me. But maybe transgenerational trauma is real. And I mention all of this to ask again, when you look into our eyes, what do you see? Let me tell you what we see. Through our eyes, we see pain. After waterfalls can't stop flowing from others' eyes, after holding on to lifeless hands of children murdered by a system that never gave a damn about them in the first place. Through our eyes, we see anger. Anger after seeing new neighbors welcome with open arms Whole Foods and coffee shops when all we received are eviction notices. Displaced from communities our families have invested in for generations. Through our eyes, we see depression. Through our eyes, we see anger. Anger after seeing new neighbors welcome with open arms Whole Foods and coffee shops when all we received are eviction notices. We've been displaced from communities our families have invested in for generations. Through our eyes, we see struggle. The ongoing struggle of being demonized for being to us, while others who not share our identity are praised by society for the same actions. Through our eyes, we see strength. Strength in those who have been stripped of the bare essentials for months on end and still figure out how to make ends meet. Through our eyes, we see power. Power in our subtle nods, raised fists, black thoughts, because the dark past we have in common. We have no guilt for the crumbs we have fought for, nor the fistfuls we plan to take, as we are simply reclaiming the American pie our ancestors were forced to make. If at any time you thought it was okay to borrow our culture, I invite you to do it now. But instead of rhythmic and lyrical sounds, or interwoven locks, or viral dances, appropriate our pain. The pain of not being responsible for the devastation of your past due to your skin color, but still being responsible for the development of your future while others continue to reap what your ancestors have sown. Appropriate our anger. The anger of millions whose loved ones are still locked up in prison due to a war they never asked for, while our white counterparts dominate the cannabis industry, creating generational wealth in the process. Appropriate our depression, because communities such as Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, communities where your grandparents own their own restaurants and movie theaters and hospitals and homes, which would have uplifted you out of your body today if it had not been for people envious of your skin, burning it all to the ground with no expectation to build it back up. And when you continue to appropriate our pain, our anger, our depression, our trauma for generations, maybe, just maybe you'll be able to understand what is happening today in America is far from liberty, far from justice, far from equality. So until then, I challenge you to reflect on what it truly means to see through black eyes well after February has passed. Because whether you want to admit it or not, black history is your history too. Thank you. I apologize for messing it up. Like I said, I haven't said it in a while. I mean, if you want to see the full video, it's on YouTube. Through Our Eyes by Tyler Holmes. But I stand here today as a black man in America. And I know myself, many of my family members, my friends, those thoughts run through our heads all the time. In this so-called country that says all men are equal, in a so-called city that considers itself one of the most liberal cities in the world, and yet we see the 7th largest army in the world constantly terrorizing, brutalizing, kidnapping people that say Black Lives Matter. 3 simple words, and half this country goes erupt. 3 simple words that many people can't seem to understand. And it just goes to show how much farther this country has to go. You know, we talk about how we're past this racist era, and that happened only 60, 70 years ago. But I'm sure many of you in the crowd today, and I'm talking to my white counterparts, still have racist family members. Yes. That you have friends that are still racist, that you choose silently not to speak up. For me, for my brothers, for my sisters, for these people organizing, risking their lives each and every day, just for a better country. Not just for us, for you. We want this to be a country where all people are created equal. That's it. And when we say defund the police, I hope y'all take that to heart. I hope y'all are out here fighting with the cause. We know all police members aren't bad. And if you think that, why the hell are you here? We're talking about an institution, systemic racism that runs through the veins of this country that has yet to be abolished. And we are going to continue fighting each and every day until that shit gets done. And I want to thank many of my sisters here today for coming. I didn't even know they were leading the march this way. But I want to speak to each and every person here, including black men, that black trans lives matter. And if you don't say black trans lives matter, you don't give a fuck about black lives, period. If people aren't constantly speaking up and speaking out against racist people, against homophobic people, against transphobic people, we are not going to get to a better country. We are not going to get to a better world, a much safer place for you, for your children, and for their children. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect one another because we have nothing to lose but our chains. Thank you. Tyler Holmes, Strategy for Black Lives.
up because this is a rally. This is energy. So let's start with it. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. No peace.
I'll come back.
Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. Not on our watch, not on our streets, no justice, no peace. I love y'all. Remember what we mean when we say, not in our walk, not on our streets. Because this is about making sure that they know that whose streets? Our streets!
Make some noise, everybody. There's a couple more speakers, and then there's gonna be directions. So when we're talking about the message, it's important if you showed up, you're down with the message. The message is that we all deserve better, and our commissioner needs to resign. So when you see where we're going, you'll get what time it is, but we need to make sure you keep this energy for all the rest of the speakers, so make some noise. So now introducing Regine from Black Women's March to the stage.
Let's go, Queen. Give it up one more time.
Let's make some noise.
fucking forget it. In order for me to speak for our trans sisters, the question shouldn't be, am I trans? You should be already receptive of the message, period. It doesn't have to be your cousin. It doesn't have to be a family member. Thank you. Sorry, I think I'm loud. It doesn't have to be a friend or family member for you to stand up for someone. It doesn't have to hit home. Mic check? Mic check. Okay, sorry, I'm a little loud. I'm trying to get used to the mic. All right, so boom. Give it up one more time for her, y'all. We shouldn't be going to these schools with more police than teachers. Yes. Imagine a world in which we reallocated the funds. Not that thing that they did with the budget, with the smoke and mirrors, trying to put the money here and then we're going to transfer it here. And no, it's complete BS. We shouldn't have to look through the budget the same way we were looking through Snopes to see if we had to give the money back from our stimulus checks. It should be point blank, period. If we're going to convey a message to the people, all of those people should be able to receive it. If we have money to put more police into the schools, we have more money to give to the teachers, no? Paying money out of pocket for supplies? That's ridiculous and disgusting. Imagine a world in which we reallocated legitimately from the police.
You got it right.
And 40 projects in Southside Queens could look like Sky Town. Where families are not just sharing one air conditioner. God forbid construction happens and they can't even use it. It's hot as hell outside and my back is sweating. To give a message on behalf of the Black Women's March, I feel the need to convey this each and every time that I speak to public. I feel this each and every time that I have to speak publicly, that we are here to represent ourselves and not against anyone else. To the Black men here, we love you. That's the real we are not here to be divisive. I'm pro-blickety black. I don't care if you are trans, cisgender, LGBTQIA. Yes, I'll say all the letters because they deserve it. We are coming from a place of love. To give you a short recap of the Black Women's March, these Black men did their thing. They removed these rude photographers that are not here today. They protected Black women. I don't care didn't miss a dialysis appointment or a recital. Stop playing with me. There's nothing new under the sun, and he is not the only one that's a good black man. We asked for the budget. We asked about the $6 billion dollars. They shifted around. If you go to Southside on Jamaica Ave, they got the table with the 3 cards. We're gonna move it around, try to make sure you get the wrong card. We should not have to deal with our politics the same way.
You get a fork? I got a fork.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job.
You about to lose your job.
So, hey, money for schools, not police. Money for housing,
Not police.
money for health care,
Not police.
money for therapy,
Not police.
because this is trauma, this is traumatic on a daily basis. We are here on the front line. We are here to make sure this change happens. We are here to make it happen.
Making it happen.
1619 to 2020, that's 401 years. I don't want to wait another year. Imagine a world where the police protected black people like they do the damn statue. City Hall anymore is barricaded up. But people pay for City Hall. I want access to it. I pay for that. I want access to it.
I want fucking access.
There's no reason as to why we have to sit here and demand that money be reallocated. Sorry, words.
Take your time.
We're here to make sure Shay, I don't know you personally, and I don't give a damn. You about to lose your job. You might get that extra $100 for unemployment. Because they're wasting our money on useless police. They're over there at that corner right now, wasting our money. Got riot gear. I don't see a riot. I don't see a riot. I don't see a riot.
I don't see a riot.
See, to make it short and to give you an idea as to what is really going on here, the 1033 program militarizes the police. It's kind of like a hand-me-down system from the military to the police when it comes to equipment. Why is that? You're trying to militarize and scare us. Abducting activists. Abducting. That was an abduction. That was damn near kidnapping.
It was kidnapping. It was kidnapping.
I'm not going to stand here and be scared.
Fuck that.
I'm a daughter of a warrior. When I say that, I mean, when it comes to genetics and things that go on with your family, constant diseases that happen in the black community seek justification for us to have legit food in our grocery stores. Over price. When BBC take organic food, I'm asking for a price. So I'm going to leave you with this. The Black Women's March is strictly inclusive. Inclusive. We have Queen on our team. So understand, we are fighting the same fight. No matter what your stance is. You don't have to have a black sister or a black sister that is trans, even though it's the same black sister. Message. Woo! So understand this fight. When I say her name, you're going to say Shaisha Washington. Say her name.
Shaisha Washington.
Say her name.
Shaisha Washington.
Shaisha Washington died July 3rd in Brooklyn after childbirth. 50% of doctors in the U.S. believe that black people that look like me, lighter or darker, do not receive the same amount of pain when inflicted at the same level. It's 2020. She died of an overdose of the epidural, which she refused, but they did to her anyway. When we say Black Lives Matter, we're not only speaking on police brutality. We're talking about the medical injustices that we face that make us scared to go to the doctor. Yes! Woo! To my allies, we appreciate you coming. However, there is still work that needs to be done. There are things that still need to be researched. We can start with the Tuskegee experiment. Woo! Yeah! If you can, go to a black-owned bookstore and purchase Medical Apartheid. Because when we're standing here for black women, our fights may be slightly adjacent, but it's still collectively the same fight. This fight for equality and equity is the same fight. I appreciate everyone for coming out. We got some work to do. We got some streets to fuck up. So once again, as long as there's breath in my body, you will understand that the Black Women's March is not anti-black man. It is not anti-black man. Yes. Yes. All time.
Next up, we have Donnelly Rodriguez, who will be speaking from Black Lives Matter, Greater New York.
Y'all better make some noise, because he's going to bring y'all some incredible words.
What's good, y'all? My name is Donnelly Rodriguez. I'm from Queens. I'm a member of Black Lives Matter, Greater New York. Copy. And I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists of America in Queens. Let's give a shout out to the black trans in the building. I'm gonna need a louder shout out for the black trans in the building. Black trans, black women, black men, want y'all to look around y'all right now. United States Courthouse, the alleged court of justice. But we need to be clear that these are not the courts of justice. These are the courts of injustice. These are courts of oppression. These are the courts that oppose systemic racism in our country, in our nation, in our people. So when we seek justice, we don't seek them in the courts of injustice. We seek them in the streets, because justice is with the people. Justice is with the streets. Justice is with us. Whose city?
Our city.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose courts?
Our courts.
The people's courts. So, I want to send a clear message, because I see a lot of white comrades here. American policing was founded on slavery. Let me say it again in case y'all ain't hear me. American policing was founded on slavery. The purpose was to capture black bodies for free labor. We built this country. We were enslaved to build this country. We deserve every single inch of this nation. Some people like to say that they're not doing their jobs. But they are doing their jobs, because we need to ask, what are they protecting and what are they serving? They ain't protecting the people. They ain't serving black people. They are protecting property, and they are serving the white capitalist class. So when we talk about race in America, we cannot talk. When we talk about race in America, we cannot not talk about class in America. Race struggle is class struggle. The oppression of black people is from capitalism. The oppression of poor people is from capitalism. And we have poor black people and we have poor white people. The brother Fred Hampton from the Black Panther Party was moving towards an intersectional race and class revolution in this country, bringing black people and white poor people together. Because he knew that poor people, black and white, if they came together, that we would take this nation onto a new path, onto a new world, onto a new generation of prosperity and power for all people. So this is why we need to recognize the issue that is policing in our country. What are the police protecting again, y'all?
Property.
Over who?
People.
Protecting what?
Property.
Over who?
People.
You gonna let that rock? You gonna let that rock?
You literally pushed a woman of color out of the space for a shot,
So-
right? So I need to you don't understand social distancing too, okay?
I need to take that in. I need to take that in, because these politicians are trying to divide us right now. They're trying to divide us. They like to say that, oh, they marching white people to politicians' houses, right? But it's still black leadership. Look behind me. Look behind me. The Freedom March, Black Lives Matter, the black trans women who led the march here, is black leadership. So whenever they come and try to tell you and use race as a shield, and use race as a weapon against white folks who are our comrades, we need to stand up and fight back and let them know that I'll take any white comrade over any politician who's serving the capitalist class that is selling out our hoods, that is gentrifying our hoods, and is bankrolled by the real estate developers in this city and in this country. So if they're protecting property, they're protecting the bag of the real estate developers. Look at the connection, y'all. Look at the connection. Is it a coincidence that all you see is shiny buildings propping up around all these neighborhoods, all around the projects, all around NYC, and the only shiny thing we see in our hood is a damn police emblem? It's over for that. Because we are bringing it to the streets. And distractions are coming, y'all. Sports is coming back. Major League Baseball, NBA, and all this stuff. And appreciate the sports. But a lot of people don't know this, but when ancient Rome was collapsing, they used the gladiators as a source of distraction to the people. So it's all good and dandy now that we're realizing that if we're not slaves to the capitalist class, we're not working slaves, because that's the new slave, the laborer, the worker, that's the new slave, the person working the 40-hour work week, that's the new slave that we have to end, because now we have time to hit the streets because COVID-19, and this is the silver lining. So when the sports come back, when they send you back to your office, remember what needs to be done. We need to march until our feet fall off. March until oppression is done. We need to march until capitalism is done. We need to march until the NYPD is defunded. We need to march until we abolish the police and redefine public safety. Because we can get rid of Commissioner Shea, which we absolutely need to do. But you can cut the head off and another one will grow back. That's why we need to defund the NYPD. That's why we need to abolish the NYPD. And let's be clear. Because the critics will say, oh, without police, crime will go up. But that is a lie. Because it ignores the fundamental reason why crime exists in our society. Because they put in $6 billion into putting us into prisons and jails, because they're spending $10 billion on building new jails throughout our city. When people are living in deplorably inhumane conditions throughout public housing in New York City, where mostly black and brown people live, where education isn't guaranteed, where if you're sick you might die, especially if you're black, because healthcare ain't guaranteed, because we have no guaranteed income, regardless of whether we're black, white, period. Period. I challenge y'all to think harder. I challenge y'all to think harder. Because frankly, I've had so many conversations with people, and I ask them, so wait, if you're homeless, you deserve to live in the streets? You think because someone doesn't have a job that they should be in the streets? Our survival should be solely based on how much we can produce for the capitalist class who exploits us every single day with a minimum wage? Well, Jeff Bezos is talking about terraforming Mars, and Elon Musk is talking about sending crap into space, when there's people in the hood right now living in the damn streets. It's not just about equality, it's about equity. It ain't fair that Jeff Bezos over here talking about building on Mars when we got people right here, right now without homes. So we need to cross our T's, dot our I's, whatever the phrase is, and recognize the target. The target is the capitalist class. The target is the property owners. The target is the exploiters, the bosses, and the owners of property around this city and this nation. Because it is the police that is tasked to protect these people. I know you feel this, Hawk. I know you feel it.
Let's go. Really? Let's go.
The revolution is a revolution of consciousness.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom.
It's a revolution of higher consciousness. And now I want to talk to my black brothers and sisters. For the past month, we've been fighting non-stop to hold these cops accountable for the systemic racism that they're perpetuating in our neighborhoods. And we've been giving off our raw energy, our raw emotions of years and years of being brutalized and oppressed. And that comes in tears, that comes in pain, agony, cursing, yelling, screaming in the cops' faces. But now we gotta take it to another level. Now we gotta take it to a higher level. We gotta call their consciousness. They are agents of the state, so they are forced through the capitalist class to only think about money. It is up to us to force them to think higher, to be higher. We need to forge a class consciousness that is rooted in race and class. Black people, white people, all poor people in this nation need to stand together and fight against these injustices. Because injustice to anyone is injustice to everyone. When the people are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? When the people are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. Let's get it, y'all. Love you, appreciate you, y'all.
I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to say one thing, because I ain't heard it said enough. Fuck the police!
Good cigar. Not that I want to buy you smoking, but I know you like it.
So, when Carlene called me up yesterday and said, we need to come up with an action to make it be known that we are standing in solidarity as an organizing community, as the people, and as leaders. Not just when we talk about what's happening right now, but how it connects to ICE, how it connects to immigrant issues, how it connects to the trans community, how everything connects. There is so much power in our ability to stand together. And Carlene has been doing this work for years. She's created spaces, she's created opportunities, and she's held people accountable. So let's give it up for Carlene, and then after that, we are going to do a direct action, and we'll have our organizers come up to explain that. Quick announcement as well. If you borrowed any equipment from the Black Trans Liberation March, please bring it up here to organizers so they can collect it and give it back to the organizing groups who donated that. So with that being said, let's give it up for Carlene.
What's up, New York City? What's up, New York City? So one big thing I want to make sure we're doing is we pick this spot because this spot know how many people know, but I've accompanied hundreds of New Yorkers that were walking into this building that were unsure what their futures would look like because Immigration Customs Enforcement and Customs and Border Patrol have the ability to take every single civil right and human right from someone that's not a U.S. citizen. Let's repeat this right now. We know we're oppressed as peoples in the United States, but there's no oppression I've seen like a 6-day-old baby being ripped from their mother at the border, and that's what our tax dollars are paying for. So like I heard some of our sisters say, and they acknowledge different privileges, whether it be because they have two parents in their home, or whether they may be lighter on the colorism spectrum. We wanted to make sure that we picked this place because this place unifies our struggle. One block there, we had the Abolish and Occupy City Hall demonstrations. We have City Hall behind us. We have federal court buildings and municipal court buildings. These buildings say they promote justice, and our communities haven't seen any. When we talk about showing the fuck up, we have to remind ourselves there's communities that have been silently struggling for decades because they don't have papeles, and in this moment we show up for them too. When we look in our crowd, there may be someone among us that doesn't have the protection of a social security number, and I'm telling you that I'm out here for you, and I will give my life to protect you if you ever see me on the front line. I want to make sure we're all turning around and pointing, and I want us to start with a couple of shames. And if you have your cameras, we need to let our immigrant brothers and sisters know. The folks that are taking care of their abuelitas and can't come out because they're high risk. The young people that are scared because they have DACA. They have no way to provide for their family and they don't see a future in this country. We have to tell them we fight for them too. When I say an agency name, you're going to scream shame. Immigration Customs Enforcement. Shame. New York Police Department. Shame. Custom and Borders Protection. Shame. Donald Trump. Shame. DEA. Shame. NYPD. Shame. ICE. Shame. ICE. Shame. ICE. Shame. CBP. Shame. CBP. Shame. Put your fists in the air, everyone, because unless our freedom is tied to our undocumented trans black brother or sister, we're not going to get free. So make some noise and turn around. When we say Black Lives Matter, I mean this immigration shit got to get together, because I got Jamaican brothers and sisters with asylum cases that if they get sent back to Jamaica, they'll die. We are deporting people to their deaths, and we have to make sure we anchor that. When we scream at the federal government, we're screaming at the enforcement agencies that they created to fulfill the promise of white supremacy in this country. So when we say NYPD, we gotta anchor these motherfuckers right here. For all the young people out here, I want to make sure you know that even people that are in the movement for a long time got mentors, and you're going to need them, because there's going to be a long, hard fight ahead we got. Make some noise. If you need help, I am here to support you. If you need a mentor, whether or not it's me, I need to connect you. We need to get our resources together. We got to get our coalition building together. And we got to start focusing on low egos and high impact. So let's make some noise. We got somebody else stepping up that's going to give a couple of words. And his team's going to transition us into logistics. But I want to make sure anybody that's volunteering with a bike is going to head right over here to have a quick powwow. If you're a volunteer with a bike, you're heading right over there for a quick powwow. Everyone in this crowd, are you prepared to fight for Black lives? to follow black women's lead to fight the black lives? Are you ready to follow trans leadership when you fight the black lives? I want to make sure folks are anchoring that earlier today, several organizations stood right here. We called on faith leaders and elected officials to stand with us to demand that the mayor fire the police commissioner. We know that the mayor's a terrible leader, but you know elections happen. He's term limited and he's out next June, so he really don't give a fuck. We need to make sure that if we're marching for the next year to make sure we have great elections in New York City and we take power back because 49 council seats of 51 seats are up and we can have a whole new city, we're fighting to get a new police commissioner today. Today! And I want to make sure I'm anchoring that when we're demanding a new police commissioner and we head out from here, you're listening to the organizers. There's a lot of shit going on. And if I just promised to die for someone in this crowd, if I roll up on you, you better fucking listen, please. Make some noise, for real, y'all. We don't know whether there's more vans ready to pick us up. So if people tell you logistical direction, we need you to fall in line and listen. That's to keep everyone here safe. We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Make some noise for the fucking organizers giving you logistics.
My name is Vidal Guzman. I am here with advocates and leaders from all 5 boroughs, Long Island and New Jersey. We are not here to start a name, we are here to fight for black lives. We are here to change the criminal mind to a revolutionary mind, and we are here to lift the consciousness of our people that have been oppressed. But that doesn't mean we have to be the only organizers. That doesn't mean that we have to be the only voices in these streets. That doesn't mean that we have to be the only one empowering and pushing our people. We are not here to play with this government. This, if you have heard me before, you know who I am. I've been incarcerated 7 years. I was homeless and was part of the street organizations. I know what it means to be harassed and have a settlement against police and be thrown on the wall. I know what it means to be 30 cases. I know what it means to be incarcerated 16, 17 and come home and get harassed every single day. I know what it means to be in solitary confinement 2.5 years, because I'm about that. Because at that moment, I was fighting for something. I was fighting with brothers who had this thought. But I'm here. So I'm about that. And we're fighting for something different in a world that is folded on our side. This is our fucking country. Everything we built ourselves. Our ancestors built this. There's no more time for nonsense. There's no more times for egos. There's no more times for belittling each other. There's no more times for talking bullshit. Do the fucking work. Let's get the actions done. What we're saying is simple, and I'm going to say this again. Just because Mayor de Blasio has a black family does not mean he cares about black people. And Shay, he's a Nazi. And the reason why I say that, because they believe in dividing and conquering. He don't listen to us. When you can say that it's okay to put hands on someone on the train, oh, we can check if they have more trainings. F you, forget you, and you're racist, and you need to step down. We're not acting nice no more. There's a difference. I know what it means to be harassed. I know what it means to be followed. My team was followed When we came off, when we went to Staten Island, before we got on the boat, they had a boat following us. Then they had a car following us. Then they already had a car where we was going. Then they had a car to drive us out. Wow. And then they got on a boat to drive us back into. Can you imagine that? And the reason why I say that is that they was following us. And then the other day, on my block, while I was getting breakfast, if it wasn't for people on my block, a part of the street organizations, Bloods, Crips, Lion Keys, and Three Intalios, and those are working people. Those, every single person that I just said that was a part of the street organization are construction workers, are business owners on my block, are fathers who has college students. Don't let this country tell you that the street organizations are out here doing violence. Governor Shea is waiting for the courts to open. He said he wants to, in a conference with the mayor and Shea, they said, we are waiting for the court system to open back up. And the reason why, they said persisting policing. Persisting policing actually means gang takedowns. Persisting policing means gang takedowns. The stop and frisk never left. It's called stop and frisk 2.0. That means if you on my block and you chill with me a little bit longer, now you blood. Now you label as a gang member. And the reason why I say this is that Shea is lying. Violence has been decreasing in our communities. We know that individuals who is needed to be invested in is the credible messengers, the OGs who know how to talk to people in our neighborhoods about what it means to meet their basic needs. So when we say, Shea, you say step down. Shea? 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 Step down. And tell them we're looking for him. So if you don't step down, we're going to look for you, Mayor. We ran down on you a whole bunch of times. And we're going to keep doing that. These politicians work for us, not the other way around. So when we say power to all people, we say power to the people. 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 I fucking mean that. Power to the people. 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 Put your middle fingers up for Shea. One middle finger. This is not normally me, right? That's what they say. That's what they say. I just got tired of waiting. I've been harassed by police. I've been followed. And it comes to a certain point, I know what it means to be followed my whole life by police. Because I've been in the gang database. I've been harassed by police. So Shea, all that lie you telling our city, that we need investments, not incarceration. So with you, Shea, fuck you. Say it after me. Fuck you. Fuck you. Resign. Resign. Fuck you. Fuck you. Resign. Resign. Fuck you. Fuck you. Resign. Resign. Fuck you. Fuck you. And make sure that when we pull out that next steps, we make it happen. We will fold Shea. We will make him resign. This is our city, and we are telling you what the fuck to do.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. How's everyone doing tonight? Let me get an energy check real quick. If you guys are still with us, let me get some energy. Let me hear some noise. First off, I'd like to thank every single organizer that decided to step foot out of their house today. Every single person that decided to come out and take action today. You see, we could have stayed in our beds, right? We could have been with our families right now, right? We could have been sitting on our couch watching TV. We could have been playing our PlayStation. We could have been doing anything else. We could have went to a restaurant. We could have been in an entanglement, okay? But we decided to let this city know that we are not playing anymore. We decided to let this police state know, no more. For those of you who have not met me yet, my name is Biggs. I've been organizing protest actions, marches, rallies, and all of that in the city for at least the last 2 months. Since our brother's life was taken. But I've also come here to brief you guys on some logistics and safety. As you guys know, we have an increased police presence around us right now.
Waste the money.
You guys just realized I looked up for a reason, okay? They're everywhere. But what I want to tell you guys is that no matter how intimidating these officers may be, we are absolutely, and I mean absolutely, not engaging with them at all. Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? So with that, I mean absolutely no one in this crowd shall be engaging with any member of law enforcement. Let's make sure that we understand that. I also want to reiterate that we are nonviolent. This is a nonviolent action. Not at all will we condone any acts of violence in this contingency today. Does everyone understand that? There's a difference between civil disobedience and violence. I'm going to say that again. There's a difference between civil disobedience and violence. As you guys know, we've had our bikes over there, all right? If anyone in the crowd has a bicycle right now, I'm asking that you guys please go over there at the moment, okay? I see a couple of people with bikes. I won't proceed forward until all of the bikes have left the crowd. If you're on a bicycle, I ask that you please head to the briefing area right now. Hold on one second. I know what I'm doing, sister. Excuse me, sister. May you please head over to the bike briefing area. Okay, if we could find that bike owner, please get them over there so they can get to the bike area, please. With that, anyone in the crowd have any type of medical training, first aid, CPR, any medical professionals, any healthcare practitioners, please raise your hand. Take a note of these people, please. In the event that there is an emergency, as simple as someone getting a cut, to someone experiencing cardiac arrest, we do not anticipate any of these, and we do not manifest any of these at all. But if you witness this, please, everyone do this in unison, put an X over your head. I've done many obstacle course races on safety teams, and we have noticed that this is the most effective signal to identify an emergency. If you see an X over someone's head, you repeat that, and you point to the area in which the assistance is needed. So once again, everyone put an X over your head. Thank you, guys. I've also received word that we still have food here, okay? Let's make sure that everyone is still nourished. If you would like to take a meal, I believe the meals are vegan. They are over to my left, over to your right, okay? They're being given out at this moment. We have vegan and non-vegan, guys. All right, guys. So, as you guys are grabbing some food, I'm just gonna give you guys some logistics as to how we're gonna move through the street. Okay? We are gonna move in a formation. We will have 3 columns across. And then we ask that everyone fill in on those 3 columns. We mean strictly 3 columns. Okay, we will walk through these columns to make sure that these columns are tight. Okay, be mindful of the day and age that we are living in. COVID-19 still lurks in this city. Make sure you're keeping your distance from the person in front of you and behind you, please. 6 feet. So, at this time, I'm gonna ask that everyone please head over to where the bikes are at. Bikes, we're sending people over to you. You guys need to be in formation, please. Mama, do water check. We don't got water. Okay. If anyone has water, please do pass it out at this time. We ask that everyone who has water, please pass it out at this time. Once again, we are moving in a formation, 3 columns, 3 columns. All organizers and marshals, please assist in this. We are strictly moving in 3 columns, guys. Mimi. Once again, guys, we are moving in 3 columns. All organizers and line marshals, please assist in making this possible. Once again, if anyone has water, please make sure that you're passing it out to your brothers and sisters. If someone looks dehydrated, don't think twice about passing them a bottle of water.
And 10 groups you're associated with.
Once again, guys, we are moving in 3 columns. All organizers and line marshals, please assist in making this possible.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter!
If you're not an organizer, please step back. Thank you.
Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! So we're gonna get these lines together in the street. So we're moving now.
Do not pass me. Please go over there.
So we're gonna have a first line here.
Our second line will be right here.
Our third line will be right here. First line right here. Third line right here. File up right in front of me. Break that. Yeah. 6 feet apart. COVID-19 is still a thing. You gotta back up. Let's keep this column tight, and let's keep 6 feet of spacing between people a little bit between the rows.
You guys should be within arm distance.
When you get in line, put your arm in the air. When you get in line, put your arm in the
To the
air.
side of you.
3 columns, please, 3 columns.
3 columns. 1 in front of me.
Make sure that this is clean.
If you are touching your neighbor, take a step over.
Everyone, turn the face towards this plaza and stick out your arms and make sure you got good spacing. All right, so look. We're gonna
line down.
The first three people in the line, can you please take a few steps forward? The first three people in the line.
First three people in the line, please take a few steps forward.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I can you guys just maintain the line? I really need to see if we're doing this properly because I want to bring the line forward. To my bike, this way. All right, you guys, we're gonna bring the line all the way back here. We'll bring the line all the way back here because we still need the people at the end of the line to get in line properly. 3 lines. We're trying to keep the people forward. We're trying to move the people forward. Keep moving forward.
As you see your line, pull forward.
Start the line, pull forward. We're pulling forward so people in the back can get in line.
If you're in line 2, just put your thumb so the people behind you can know what line they're in.
Three lines. I'll be right.
Put your 2 fingers up.
Line 1 is 1 finger. Line 2 is 2 fingers. Line 3 is 3 fingers. Line 1, put the 1 finger up. So just make sure that these lines are good. Alright, line 1.
So a non-violent civil disobedience is being organized down there on the street here at Foley Square. Hundreds of people in the street, as you can see behind me. They're going all the way across, all the way across, all the way across to there. This is an in-place training as well as an action that's about to take place. Non-violent civil disobedience, unarmed, peaceful, calling for justice for
Daily protest in New York City.
New York City. Calling against the militarization of police forces here in New York and across the country. Calling for the demilitarization of police forces, for safety and humanity to be reintroduced into police forces, into policing.
This is not going to be a very long march. It's going to be a very powerful and intentional march, okay?
So people are information here being split into 3 lines. Explained as we wait here on the street. I don't know whether we're staying in place here or moving off from here, stepping off from here in formation to other places. Stay with us. The civil disobedience is in motion here. Share this out, please. This could be very interesting. On Sunday, an act of civil disobedience had the northbound lanes of the FDR Drive blocked from, we marched from 62nd Street to 96th Street, 34 blocks on the FDR Drive, major artery of New York City. So this is more organized than that was. That was very well organized, but it was this seems to have a lot more thought put behind it. So I'm going to switch it around so we can go back down into the crowd and you can see. But please share this out. Sharing it out amplifies it. If you can't be out here in the streets with us, you can share it to your community groups, to your personal page, to affinity groups that are concerned with justice, freedom, Black Lives Matter, humanity, democracy, removing Trump, moving forward into a better world for this and the future generations. The police seem to be building up around us as we speak. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this, for sharing it out. Scenes in Portland, scenes in LA, scenes in Springfield, Oregon, scenes in Albuquerque, Chicago, Philadelphia. This is a moment in history that will not be repeated. The bikes are out in front of us. Us, supporting us.
Hey! Justice! No peace! No justice!
get justice for you. We love you. We miss you. We will get justice for you. We love you. We miss you. We will get justice for you. My Chuck. We love you. My Chuck. 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 Commissioner Shea, resign now. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Let's go. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea! 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 Media, get out of the green line.
Keep the line. Keep the line. Keep the line.
Take the line. Keep the line. First row, stay right on the
Beep, beep. Honk your horn. Beep, 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 beep.
First row, please. Keep your line.
Keep your horn. 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 Keep your horn.
So we've turned on to Canal Street now, and we're headed east on Canal Street. It's in the direction of one of the bridges, it's in the direction of the river, it's in the direction of the FDR again. Who knows? But you know you're on the right side of history here in New York when people, New Yorkers who hate traffic, are beeping in support that are stuck in traffic. It's a beautiful sight. These lines of people organized into 3 lines ends up being such a beautiful symmetry in the streets of New York, taking up the whole street with calls for justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Nina Pop, Sandra Bland, Amadou Diallo, Emmett Till. Justice too long withheld. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Ruben? Doug. Doug.
Oh, yeah.
Show me what black joy looks like.
This is what this
Show me what black joy looks like. Show me what black joy looks like.
Commissioner Shea, resign now! 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 Resign now! Resign now!
Resign now! Resign now! Resign now!
That sounds good. We're just going straight.
Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Pull your phones out.
Mic check. Mic check.
Flashlight. Pull your phones out. Everybody put it in.
Pull your phones out. We're going to draw the attention because our message is important. Our message deserves to be censored today. Lights out. Lights out. Up and out.
If you are not in a line, please come to the front of the line. If you are not in a line, please come to the front of the line.
When we said organization, we meant it. When we said a unified front, we meant it. When we said that we are coming together to make a commissioner stay resign, we meant it.
Resign now. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Resign now.
Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now.
Commissioner Shea.
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 Resign now. Resign now.
Commissioner Shea.
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 Resign now. 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 Resign now.
Shot.
Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign, everybody.
Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Let me get my line 3. Let's start marching forward. Line 3. Let's start marching forward.
So this is an act of civil disobedience, and we're marching south now, a little bit down through Chinatown. And the call is for Commissioner Shea to resign now. The beautiful light behind us is everyone with their cell phones out, and they're Flashlight mode on. Thousands of people in the streets here of New York City. 50-somethingth day or 60th day of action for justice, for freedom, for George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for all the George Floyds, for all the Breonna Taylors, for Nina Pop, Ahmaud Arbery, Amadou Diallo, Emmett Till. Commissioner Shea resigned now. Funky bicycle band ahead of us. There's an almost full moon over Manhattan. The cyclists are out in front, keeping cars from swerving down into us, keeping cars from getting into the lane of people marching here. We're still headed for somewhere, so stay tuned. Please keep sharing this out. I think this is geared up for being a nonviolent direct action of some fairly sizable proportions. And we're marching up. Thank you to everyone who's watched this, watching it, sharing it. Sharing it makes it a lot. It amplifies it, so that's much appreciated. It's the equivalent of you coming out into the street with 10 of your friends, or 5 of your friends, or 100 of your friends, depending on where you're sharing it. Sharing it to groups is great. Starting watch parties is great. You can share it to your own page and then just hit the little, come up with an option saying start a watch party. You can start a watch party, or you can enter it into a group and start a watch party. All of a sudden, there are a lot more police around us, as you can see. The police have swept in very quickly to wherever we're here at Chatham Square, and nearly about 30 or 40 cop cars have swept in behind us. They probably figured out where they think we're going, and then there's a whole squadron of little cop motorcycles here as well. The cop cars just keep coming.
get information. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea. Resign now. 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 Resign now. Resign now. Resign now. Resign now.
It was very interesting. It was very interesting. It was cool. They were cool people.
Everyone come in closer. Keep in mind you should still be behind organizers. If you are behind me, you are in the wrong place.
Everybody on this side, please come to the front over here.
Everyone get closer.
Organizer, get to the front.
Everybody on this side, please come over here.
Resign now. Commissioner Shea.
Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea.
Resign now.
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 Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice.
No peace.
Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice.
No peace.
Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice.
No peace.
Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice.
No peace.
Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice.
No peace.
Not on our watch, not in our streets, no justice.
No peace.
Not on our watch,
Not in our streets, no justice. No peace.
not on our watch,
Not in our streets, no justice. No peace.
not on our watch,
Not in our streets, no justice. No peace.
not on our watch,
Not in our streets, no justice. No peace.
no justice,
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 No peace. No justice. No peace.
no justice.
No peace.
One mic,
No peace.
one mic,
One mic.
one mic,
One mic.
one mic.
One mic.
Today we have seen what it looks like when we come together. Let's be very, very clear. We are not intimidated. Are we intimidated? Are we intimidated? Are we intimidated? Are we intimidated? It is our tax dollars that build this city. And it will be our voices that make sure that our tax dollars go towards what we need for our city. Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Protect the protesters, protect the people. We need you.
Media, clear the way for the crowd.
A seat on the ground.
See the crowd?
You got people engaging.
They're engaging over there?
Yeah, they're engaging. Let her just tell her, say, don't engage.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Okay, so right now what we are going to do is organize, because we've been organizing today, haven't we? We are going to organize a die-in. For those of you who haven't done a die-in before, it is a symbol and recognition of those lives who we have lost in this movement. It is a way of saying no more names. So I'm going to need everyone to lay on the floor as we recite names that we have lost in New York City. Spread out for this. Take up as much space as you need. Because whose street? Our street. 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 As we're making space, we pass the correctional facility. When we say we know people's lives are on the line, that's what we mean. And when we are approaching summertime, it's important, when we're laying ourselves down, we anchor Michael Brown, who on August 9th, it will be 6 years since his body lay cold on the ground in Ferguson. So this is a very powerful symbol. And I want people to connect with it right now. For the countless lives lost in New York City, for every single life we know that's being targeted that we may lose for the duration of this summer, we're fighting for them. Their lives matter, and we're here to anchor it. And of course, a lot of you, your eyes are either closed or you are looking up to the sky. But let me tell you, do not be intimidated today or tomorrow when you take to these streets that belong to you. Because for every one of them, there's hundreds of us. And every time we come out here, they are afraid of what happens when we simply use our voices to say no more. What is so radical about change? What is so radical about reimagining a system that has not worked? What is so radical about saying we are tired of losing lives to a system that is supposed to protect us? So with that being said, let us remember George Floyd. Let us remember Breonna Taylor. Let us remember Eric Garner. Let us remember Trayvon Martin. Let us remember all of the lives we have lost. Let us remember the stories, the families who are mourning, the families who cannot simply turn off social media and pretend as though this all doesn't exist. Let us remember that for every life, there is a community that is mourning. Let us remember our Black trans sisters. Let us remember Black girls, Black boys. Let us remember the names of those from generations ago, Emmett Till. We are in our generation's civil rights movement. And it is our responsibility to stand not only on the shoulders of those who have come before us, but also on the right side of history.
Dominique Alexander, Tatiana Jefferson, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Tony McDade, Emmett Till, Miguel Reyes, Philando Castile. Ayana Jones.
Mohammed Ba.
Brianna Stone.
Mohammed Ba.
Mohammed Ba. Amadou Diallo.
Elijah McClain.
Dion Flood. Dominique Fells. And let's do a moment of silence for all the names that we don't know that have lost their lives to police violence. That moment starts now. All right, if everyone can stand up. We ask if everyone take out your phones. We're going to do one last final call for Commissioner Shea to resign. So everyone take out your phones with the lights out. We're going to do a video so that everyone can spread the word.
Make sure that the flash is a video that you are turning on. A video with the flash that you are turning on. So when we are done, we can post this on social media, and we can tag 5 of our friends, and we can send it to the NYPD and whoever else isn't here with the statements. Commissioner Shea. 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 Commissioner Shea.
Resign now! Resign now! Resign now!
So on that note, we are closing out this evening's vigil and action and march and anything else that you want to call it. But what it really is the people making it clear that whose street? Our streets! Whose street? Our streets! So the next time one of us is kidnapped, there will be thousands more. Because whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! We will not tolerate intimidation when we are exercising a right that is ours, a First Amendment right that is ours. Equal protection under the law shouldn't matter whether you have a badge or not. So with that being said, everyone, let's acknowledge the organizers who made sure today was organized. Mic check. Give it up for, and I'm going to list everyone. New York City Action Lab. Freedom March NYC, Strategy for Black Lives, Black Lives Matter, Greater New York, Black Women's March, and all of our community that came together, even our unknown named groups, even our subway DJ. sure that today happens. Our elected officials who came and stood with us earlier.
There was a few, y'all. And let's make sure we say their names. Carlina Rivera and Catalina Cruz. When we put on a crew, it was two brown women that came. Make some noise.
And another dog who didn't go has shown up. Our faith leaders who came out and stood with us. And let us also remember that tomorrow at 6 p.m., Christopher Street, Pier 45, there will be a rally against anti-trans violence. And we need to make sure the community pulls up. So with that, we are going to close, and Carlene is going to make sure that we disperse.
Real quick, Hope brought up a really important factor here, and he consistently anchors me in that. Let's all, whoever you believe in, your higher power, let's bow our heads and let's say thank you to God. And standing in solidarity with Portland and every other city that's going through an occupation right now. Brothers and sisters, that they come out of it on the other end. And I want to make sure if you feel uncomfortable about leaving this area by yourself, I'll stand here for about 15 minutes with my brothers and sisters. And if you need support because you feel unsafe, this is one community, nobody gets left behind. Who's got us? Who's got us? Who's got us? We got us. 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 That's what I thought. What we want to do is we want to make sure so we don't leave nobody behind. We don't march our asses out of here because we see the police escalating and we know what time it is when we leave a couple folks behind. We want to make sure we clear this area because when we press on and we're demanding the commissioner resign, we need to make sure they see how organized and strategized we are because we're not leaving until he resigns. Please, we're going to turn back around and go north, opposite direction. We got bikes over there on the other end. Our bikers and our folks are right there, trying to make sure that we're going to be going in the right direction. Nobody left behind, everybody. If you feel unsafe and you need to make sure you're getting home, come holler at me. We love you. We want you to keep showing up. And please connect with the organizers, y'all. We thank you. Make some fucking noise, New York.
Fuck the PBA!
We're headed in that direction, y'all.
Fuck Patrick Lynch!
Follow the crowd, we're all gonna work
We
together
gonna
and
hang
look
Patrick
for
Lynch!
together. Remember what I said. Staying organized and creating that structure and educating one another is how we're gonna make a move as a unit and make change. And just for a quote for all of you on your way on out, Malcolm X. Once you change your philosophy, you change your thought pattern. Once you change your thought pattern, you change your attitude. Once you change your attitude, it changes your behavior pattern. And then you go on into some action. Put that within each and every single one of you. We're going to move together as a unit, right in that direction. I love y'all, family. Stay together, stay together. Stay vigilant. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all.
That's the end of the action. The police were fortifying their police precinct behind us there. Clearly they were worried that we were going there. It was a peaceful die-in here in the street, here in Chinatown, and the point was made that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I'm just going to keep the live stream going for a bit of the music and the solidarity post. There still are hundreds of police behind us, so I'm sure. I think they're just going to be staying in there, and people are disbanding this way, walking back up the street. Thanks everybody that's been watching this. Thanks everybody that's been sharing this out. Thank you, sir. There have been people handing out masks and hand sanitizer in the street. And Thank you again, sister. That was just like you president. I'm gonna vote for you like right now.
Immediately.
Can you just tell us your name again for everybody that's watching?
Chelsea Miller, Freedom March NYC.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chelsea. Chelsea's been laying it down here in the streets. She's been doing lots of these marches. And I just said to her, I want to vote for her president right now. Because it's like, you know, what is so hard to get about a society that is fair and equitable for all, where people don't feel threatened by the police, where people take care of each other. Beep, 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 beep.
going forward.
When I speak, you repeat. When I speak, you repeat. We are going straight. 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 Take down.
The march continues. We're heading north on. Heading north out of Chinatown through Chinatown. Still in Chinatown. Hester Street and Broadway. Heading north.
Let's try and get that car to get out through here. Make some room for the car.
Let this car through, right?
Yeah, let this car through.
Let the car through. Please go slowly. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guys, turn up there. If you're a bike, go up there, please. Where are we going?
Bikes have our safety. They block the roads off for us. They keep people from ramming us.
Into the park.
Into the park right here. Into the park right here.
We are moving. We are moving. Into the park.
I mean, not most of it, but a lot of the first. 2 times. And none of these motherfuckers Hard part.
stand for point A to point B safely without the damn police.
Our city! 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 Our city!
Whole street?
Our streets!
Whole street?
Our city!
Whole city?
Our city! Our city! Our city! Our city! Our city! Our city! Our city!
With that being said, tonight's demonstration has ended. Please make sure everyone gets home safe. If you need a buddy to get home, coordinate that. If you need a train buddy to get on the train, coordinate that. There's water in the front. Get your water and make sure you check in to get home. This is not going to be the only night we come outside. So make sure that you follow at Freedom March NYC, at Strategy for Black Lives, at all of the organizations that have pulled up to this one here. So with that being said, community, get home safe. We're out. Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Good night, y'all. Guys, get home safe. And if you're going home by yourself, please give it a buddy. Thank you. Buddy system. Buddy system. Buddy.
Oh, my name? Oh, Chucky. What about you? Emma. I don't recognize you.
That's okay. There's one of you.
It might seem like there's a whole lot of marching. It might seem like there's a whole lot of rallies, a whole lot of protests, a whole lot of activity in the streets. But today I just shared a performance from Nina Simone from 1965 of Mississippi Goddamn, and it's the same issues 55 years ago that she was singing about. So, wondering why we're still out in the streets asking for this stuff, why Black Lives Matter is an issue now. It hasn't ever not been an issue ever since the first slaves were brought here, and it's only now that we're becoming more enlightened as to the histories, the buried histories, the distorted histories, the lies that we've been taught, and the injustices that still exist for Breonna Taylor, for George Floyd, for all the Breonna Taylors and all the George Floyds in the world. Nina Pop, Sandra Bland, Amadou Diallo, Ahmaud Arbery. Take care, everybody, and for a better tomorrow. Remove Trump.